The big city port was in the grips of winter. It had come earlier than expected, and with it came the fog. None of us liked fog, but in those days, it was worse. TUGS had no radio and no radar. Long periods of fog had a way of conjuring up old sea stories and superstitions among the boats of the harbor. I remember Big Mac returned quite late. He'd been working all day with Scutterbud Pete, who had been telling him old sea stories of strange things that had happened when fog was around. As he passed derelict buildings, they seemed to take on ghostly shapes. They groaned and creaked as if they were alive. As Big Mac came close to an old warehouse, he heard a whisper which grew louder. It was too much for Big Mac. Forgetting safety, he charged into the fog and made his way through the dark shapes of moored boats and trampers, trying to make sure the ghost tugs weren't following him. He was soon back at the Star Dock. Earlier the next day, the Starfleet all had their orders. As they moved out, they were giving Big Mac a hard time about his ghosts. That evening, Warrior was making his way back to port. Some shrimpers were allowed, using him as a guide through the fog. Warrior surged violently, just in time to make the mud bank, but the shrimpers were not so lucky. Izzy Gomez, the old tramper, had failed all day to get a cheap tow into port, so he decided to try to sneak in for free with the help of the fog. OJ returned from escorting two trampers out to sea. Tired and still some way from our pier, he decided to take a shortcut through the inlet where old cranes were kept. The fog gave everything a creepy look. Being out for so long in trick fog was playing tricks with him. Top Hat had been out all day too. 10 Cents and Sunshine were taking fuel out to Little Lightship. An early sun had brought off the fog, but Top Hat was still asleep where he tied up. They watched with embarrassment as Burke and Blair towed away the rotting gullet. Later on, Star Tugs found they could laugh about it, but they never forgot the fog that early sent them crazy.